Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. So, as you guys know, Super Bowl was yesterday. How'd you feel about that? You guys feel okay? You guys doing all right? After they won, Joel Embiid was out on the block. He made a appearance on the live news out there in Philadelphia. So, I mean, congrats to the Eagles. Congratulations to them. I think that, part of me feels a way about them winning, then part of me kind of feels a way about the Pats losing. You know what I mean? Just because, just similar to basketball. Well, in all sports, just the way I feel. I personally enjoy complete dominance. I think it's pretty cool. I like when people are just destroying people. Like, for example, the way LeBron has just crushed the East, for the last 7 or 8 years. I think it's great. And you can tell me that the East isn't that good, so it doesn't count. But they all have to play 82 games. And the teams on the East do play each other more than the teams in the West play each other. That's the same thing as the West. Teams on the West play each other more than the teams on the East play each other, and so forth. But you still got to win the games in the playoffs and then go to the finals. So I love dominance. That's kind of why I wanted the Patriots to win. That's kind of why I felt that way. So I was watching the game. I put a small friendly wager on it with the pal. So obviously took a loss on that. But me personally, I wanted to see the guy win another ring. I wanted to see him win 6 rings. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think him and I want to say Charles Haley both have the most rings. And I think I'd like to say I was around that type of history. Even though I wasn't a massive Laker fan in high school, but looking back on it, I wish I appreciated Shaq a little bit more. So that's kind of why I didn't want the Patriots to lose. Then again, Philadelphia looked so convincing. If they win again, like it win back-to-back Super Bowls, that'd be cool. I'm down for streaks. I'm down for complete dominance because we rarely see it. Like the Warriors. The Warriors in this whole alleged LeBron trade. Now, not the LeBron trade, but LeBron signing. Now, we all know that this is false by now, right? I mean, I know some of you guys don't. I've had this conversation with a few different colleagues of mine, and a lot of people seem to think that this is a real thing. They seem to think that it's a real thing, it's something that's actually going to happen. But it's no one has an actual source for this, and that's kind of the problem with I'm going to say the sports news sometimes, or I would say sports news, because in actual journalism, you're not supposed to say according to sources because you have to have a source. You learn that in college, right? You can't just write something without citing it, right? I mean we've all been there. Some of us have, some of us haven't. But I don't really like the whole according to sources thing, which it should kind of tell you guys why this is false. But the interesting thing is that the reason why it's false. Now, I mean, not only have we talked about multiple times about LeBron possibly going there, would he go, should he go, all this, just as far as what would be the word for it? the speculation is fun, right? So speculating whether or not LeBron would actually go to the Warriors is fun. It's great. Like, we can talk about who they would trade, who they would let go. Like, that's a fun thing to talk about, I would say. Kinda. A little bit. I mean, yeah, it's fun because we got some of the pundits online talking about how he could never do that. There's no way LeBron should ever even consider going there because it'd be unfair to the whole league and blah, blah, blah. We have other people saying it'd be cool if he went. Why? Well, because all they judge in the end is your finals record. When it's all said and done and you're no longer in the league, all everyone cares about is how many finals you won. When you talk to people and you do the interviews, that's what they put on the bottom. They put the little thing on the bottom that says, this person has this many rings. This person one-time NBA champion, 5-time NBA champion. That's what they do. So that's all that matters in the end. So right now, if he did go to the Warriors, people would be upset, but I feel like it's something that they would get used to, you know? But none of that even matters because according to LeBron, it's completely false. Like, the whole thing is completely false. LeBron said that this whole thing is absolute nonsense. And he said the first thing he did when he heard it, started laughing. Then he thought about it and he said, it's nonsense. It's a non-story. Bill Simmons of The Ringer suggested that this whole rumor was something that was planted to force the Cavaliers' hand. He said on Twitter, this plan is A, to pressure the Cavs to trade the Nets pick, B, unsettle Golden State's chemistry, and C, pressure the Lakers to create cap space for him or others. Which all those things make complete sense, right? Because the way the quote went, the quote was basically saying, according to sources, LeBron would be willing to have a meeting with the Warriors if they were to offer him enough money. Well, I mean, I would think so. I mean, that's not even really, and it said according to sources, right? And me personally, I don't even really feel like that's even, how do you say this? I don't feel like, well, just because he's LeBron, so it is a big deal. So I can't say it's not a big deal, but I don't feel like that's enough information for everyone to lose their minds. Because if the Warriors say, hey, if we can offer you $220 million, will you come sit down? I think, yeah, sure, I'll come check you guys out. Like, why wouldn't he? You know, I feel like anyone, when LeBron's a free agent, anyone that calls him and says, hey, we can offer you $220 million. Do you want to come talk about it? Okay, I'll come talk about it. Like, why not? Let me find out what else you guys have besides $220 million. Let me just see what else is going on there. Like, why wouldn't you? So, I mean, I'm going to say LeBron's right. It is a non-story. However, with it being a non-story or whatnot, and us basically, what would be the word? And we're gonna play devil's advocate with this whole Bill Simmons statement and say this is true. If this is true, this whole, how would I say, rumor, like purposely leaked, that might be the most diabolical thing ever. When I say diabolical, I mean like Dr. Evil level diabolical. I mean like someone on the Scooby-Doo show who's like pretending to be a ghost and they said they would have got away with it if it weren't for those pesky kids. That level of diabolical scheming. I mean, because that, like, let me just explain this to you guys again. The theory is this rumor that was put out by his camp is supposed to do three things: pressure the Cavs to trade the Nets pick, unsettle the Warriors' chemistry, and to pressure the Lakers to create some cap space for him or others. When you put all those things together, that's all the movement you need. Because if you think about it, if this was purposely leaked, the way it's stated is he'd be willing to go meet with the Warriors if they could offer him enough money. He didn't say LeBron would go meet with anyone that could offer him $220 million. It didn't say that. It said the Warriors. Now, as the Cavaliers, when you hear that, you're like, oh, he would go there? He would go play for the Warriors? But we play them in the finals all the time. So you're telling us that if he leaves, we're going to be bad. We understand that. But you're telling us he's going to leave and go give our finals rival more championships? You know, we're yet we're going to have to make an offer. We're going to have to sit this guy down because he can't go there. We can't have that. That's not going to work. We can't have that. That's psychological warfare at its best. And I'm going to tell you more about this theory and about why this actually is going to work. I mean, it's not going to end up on the Warriors. I'm going to tell you why this whole thing is going to work as soon as I get back from this commercial break.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. Presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. Are you guys okay? I know there was a big game yesterday. There was a whole Super Bowl. The whole thing happened. I'm hoping that everyone's doing okay from that because I know that when it comes to the Super Bowl, we can get a little excited and mucks will be ran. So hopefully you're recovering from that okay. If your team lost, well, I'm sorry, maybe next year. And if your team won, okay, congratulations. Back to LeBron's alleged diabolical leaked statement. So as I was telling you guys a little bit earlier, I have a statement by Bill Simmons that says that his theory is this rumor was leaked by LeBron James's camp to, one, pressure the Cavs to trade that Nets pick for help, unsettle Golden State's chemistry, and pressure the Lakers to create cap space. Now, if this is true and this is why that was leaked, it's diabolical. And I take my hat off to him because whatever this is supposed to do, it's going to work. It's already working. Want to know why? I'll tell you why. Just earlier, this was yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. Chris Paul was asked how he felt about the Cavaliers upgrading their roster in case LeBron leaves this summer. CP3 said, Chris Paul, you've got LeBron James over there in that locker room. You know what I mean? What else do you need to do? Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted, man. So knowing that there's a possibility of upgrading rosters and LeBron leaving, you got CP3 speaking on it, which is going to create some other rumbles, all because of this alleged statement. That's got to put pressure on the Cavs. Has to put pressure on the Cavs to either make a move for him. Well, he's got a no trade clause, but try to make a move before Thursday to convince him to stay, find some type of reasoning for him to stay there, or start getting ready for later. As far as unsettling Golden State Warriors chemistry, I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows this, but when it comes to this whole money thing and the people taking pay cuts left and right to keep a team together, it happens in fairy tales. It sounds really good. It sounds awesome. It sounds outstanding. However, it's not going to happen with the Warriors for so long. You know what I mean? So we got Kevin Durant that took a pay cut this year. I believe Steph Curry just signed his deal. And Klay Thompson and Draymond Green's money is coming up either this summer or next summer. I don't know if they're going to be okay with this alleged pay cut to keep this team really good. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, they've already won 2 rings. They'll win a third one this finals. So they'll have 3. They'll have won 3 of the last 4 championships, which should be great, right? It'd be incredible. But when it comes to the bread and what you can do elsewhere, people might want to make their own moves. A long time ago when the Suns were good, a very long time ago, in case you guys didn't know, Joe Johnson, one of the best shooters in the league, one of the best closers, he used to play for the Suns. He was really good. And the Suns needed him. However, he got a great offer from Atlanta for about $100. I think it was the biggest contract for like $100 million at that time. And he took the bread. He went to Atlanta and they were subpar. And the Suns eventually broke up and they got bad. So, I mean, he could have took a pay cut, could have took less, but you don't just pass up $120 million. And I believe that Klay Thompson is worth that much on another team. And unless the Lakems, the owners of the Warriors, want to go ahead and pay the luxury tax, just pay the extra taxes, pay the penalties, the fees and licensing fees for the boat fines. If they want to pay all those extra costs to keep it together, then so be it. It's a thing. But if not, we're going to be looking at some problems. So with that coming up, I ask you this. Do you think it's a possibility that with all those players on that team and this rumor leaking like this, do you think it caused some of them had some thoughts about it? Like, they better not pay LeBron any money. Wait, they're going to pay LeBron what? Wait, how? How much? 200 what? No, but they got to pay me next, huh? They have to pay me next year. Oh, you mean if LeBron comes, I'm going to get less? You're crazy. I'll go somewhere else. What are they going to do? I'll go play for the Mavs. Mark Cuban to pay me. Okay. That's a guy having a conversation with himself in the mirror about finding out about this LeBron James rumor. So maybe it did unsettle someone's stomach a little bit. It didn't have to unset the whole organization, but if one person got the talking, and was like, hey, I don't like this thing. And someone's like, man, don't worry about it. It's just a rumor. No, hey, I don't like it. Even if they were going to do it, I don't like it. Then that worked. Diabolical. According to sources, diabolical. And I'm among that whole roster, the whole Golden State Warriors staff, record label, organization, and crew. Somebody that matters was like, I don't like that. And I don't like that one bit. And just to know that happened a little bit, that would make people think twice a little bit, right? A little bit. Who knows? I mean, because really, let's see. So we got they just gave Westbrook like $250 million to play for Oklahoma, right? Okay. Now, and then he has Paul George and Carmelo. Paul George has an option to leave this summer. If Paul George has an option and goes somewhere and they give him player max. Let's say they give Paul George, I don't know, $150 million. I mean, the Clippers gave Blake Griffin $170. I would say Paul George is Paul George worth more than $170? Let's say $150. Klay Thompson sees that. He's like, wait, what? I feel like I'm younger and better than Paul George. I deserve some of that bread. Then we got these moves happening. We got shifts happening, all because of this tweet that's according to sources. Let me get to the last part of this tweet, you guys. The last part of Bill Simmons' theory is to pressure the Lakers to create cap space for him or others. And you want to know why that's going to pressure the Lakers? I'm going to tell you why to pressure the Lakers. One, because of the Warriors in the statement. Again, LeBron could have said, according to sources, LeBron would be willing to meet with any team to play him the max. That doesn't do it. It has to be according to sources. LeBron will be willing to meet with the Warriors if they can offer him a max player deal. He'll go have lunch with them if they can offer him $200 million. Now, the Lakers are like, no. We want to catch up with the Warriors or eventually surpass them. We want to catch up with the Warriors and eventually supersede their successes, recent successes. Obviously, the Lakers have a ton of successes, but they can't get LeBron. No, we can't have that. We got to make some moves now. We got to make some moves because we can't let the Warriors get even better. We can't let them get better because that just means more championships. That just means that. And we're not going to let it happen. So Lakers are instantly pressured to make some moves. Instantly pressured. Which is weird which makes things a little more strange because I know that Paul George has been in the Lakers sweepstakes for a while. We deal with this all the time. I haven't really brought it up to you guys lately because I feel like it just gets kind of old because they ask him all the time. But just recently, they've kind of been a little bit more aggressive when it comes to asking him. He said he's happy here where he's at. Said he's happy. But if the Lakers are feeling pressure and they feel like they got to make a move, maybe Like, well, we can probably get LeBron if we can get Paul George. And then maybe if we do this, we can do that. And they got to be feeling some pressure now. And Paul George is like, hey, if somebody could tell him, I mean, of course it's tampering, but they're all tampering, right? Someone tells Paul George, like, hey, would you be willing to come if we had LeBron? And Paul George is like, I don't know, maybe. If that could be a thing. And they're pressured to make moves. So I don't know if he did this on purpose. I don't know if LeBron did it or somebody just did it just because we needed a story to talk about. But if he did, if his camp did just create this tweet and just send it out there like that, man, I'm all for it. Psychological warfare. I'm all for it. I personally believe, though, before Thursday, I mean, I guess they don't want to rush anything, but Thursday being the trade deadline, I personally believe they should go ahead and trade that Nets pick. They should trade the Nets pick, make it work for Dre Jordan, and just get it done. Because I don't really see a situation where they don't make a move. Like, okay, here's the thing. Let's see. Let's assume that either way he's leaving, whether you guys make the move or don't make the move. Let's assume that either way he's going to leave. Wouldn't it be best to do your best this season then? Because you're going to be garbage for the next 10 years. Just so you know, I'm just letting you guys know. Because you have the oldest team in the world, and they're all being held up by the foundation and glue of which we call LeBron James. So I say you trade the pick, get Dre Jordan. You can have a defensive stopper down low, Tristan Thompson. DeAndre Jordan's numbers are better than Tristan Thompson. He's younger and he plays better defense. And I believe he's hungrier than Tristan Thompson. So, with that, you make that trade and then we just knock it out and they just make a run for it and see what happens. And if he goes, he goes. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to leave. I'm pretty sure right now, at this very moment, LeBron already knows whether or not he's going to go. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter there's no convincing him. He knows exactly what he's already going to do. Already. There's this part. I used to watch this show called The Wire. And there's this part where this guy, Stringer Bell, he's like a kingpin guy, drug dealer. He's getting chased down by these other guys, right? And they trap him in the warehouse. They pull guns out on him. And he says, "Is there anything I can say to change your mind?" And they say, "No." And they just let him have it. I feel like this is the LeBron situation because you guys aren't going to change his mind. No matter what you do, no matter what, you can bring in the ghost of Wilt Chamberlain and sign him to like a free contract. It's not going to change LeBron's mind. So I think you should do everything in your power to make a fiery move right now and improve the roster to make your last run. This is the end. If he does sign again, hooray. But if he doesn't, hey, I say that you go ahead and do your best to surround the 4-time MVP with the best players available for your last run. Because you're going to be garbage for 5-10 years. That's what's going to happen. This is true. That's what's going to happen. You just have to get used to that, unfortunately. And it's not a bad thing to be garbage for that long. Like some teams have to be garbage that long. Then eventually, like they bounce back, and that's just how it is. But you got to deal with it. You got to suck it up. Now, when it comes to this trade, I'm not very sure what's holding the whole Tristan thing back from the DeAndre Jordan thing and the Channing Frye thing. I'm not sure what's holding all that back because I feel like it would have been done already. I think the issue may be the Cavs have Tristan on a contract that the Cavs don't necessarily like. I don't think they're very happy with the contract they gave him, honestly. And I'm not sure if the Clippers want to take on that much money just right after getting rid of this Blake Griffin money. That could be it as well. So there's that. That could be what's holding this up because I'm not sure why it hasn't been done yet. But when I get back, I'm gonna tell you why I kind of feel for the Cavs and why, what's the word? I feel for their organization within them not knowing what to do based on LeBron's last interview that he just gave. I'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to pay a bill. You don't go anywhere. Don't eat a Tide Pod. Don't do anything crazy. If you got to drink some water to fix your Super Bowl thing, I get that too. But I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA Podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented on and by the GSMC Podcast Network with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. Now, I'm just telling you guys about how the Cavs need to make a move. I understand the situation they're in because they don't. No, wait. I'm sorry. That's not what I said. I said they need to make a move, and they should make a move because whether or not LeBron's going to go or not, he already knows whether or not he's going to go or not. So there's no convincing him to stay because he already knows what he's going to do. And I feel like if he already knows what he's going to do, you should pretend that he's going to leave. If you're going to pretend that he's going to leave, when he does leave, you're probably not going to be good very long. Well, you're not going to be good for a long time, maybe a very long time, and I think you should go ahead and accumulate the best staff around him to make this last finals run before he bounces, if he is going to leave. But I feel for them, and I understand where they're at with this. And let me tell you why I kind of get it. First of all, there was whispers about Tyronn Lue losing his job. Now there's been whispers of him not being what's the word? Not being in danger of losing his job. So apparently he's not a coaching thing. He's ended up staying. This is the confusing thing for the Cavs, in my opinion. During an interview after last night's loss, because since Christmas, the Cavs have lost 12 of their last 18 games, LeBron was asked several questions like, hey, has this ever happened to you before? Or are you guys playing so bad? Blah, 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 things like that. One thing he said that I found interesting was he said, the last time I felt this way was my first year in Miami. We were 8-9. We were trying to get things figured out, but it's because we were a group of new guys it was a new team trying to figure things out. We still played together. We're playing hard. We just couldn't figure things out quite yet. Eventually we got it together. He didn't say he didn't say that the Cavs aren't playing hard, but what he said was in that situation we were playing hard. We just didn't know how to play together. In this situation, I feel like he was insinuating, and I would never put words in anyone's mouth, but I feel like he was insinuating the best effort isn't being given. He was also asked, do you feel like your teammates are working as hard as you? And he said, basically, I'm not going to answer that. That's not my place to do it. He said, I do my job. Now, the reason I understand where the Cavs are coming from within their massive amounts of confusion with what to do is because when asked, do you know who you'd be able to help, who you would trade for to have you help the team, which is a crazy question to ask anyone, right? I mean, we only ask LeBron those type of questions. I don't feel like anyone else gets asked that. LeBron said, that's not for me. I'm a player. I just show up. I do my job. I'm a player. That's a GM question. He kind of got asked the same question again in a way where, kind of, for the most part, the same thing. Like, would you need help, or is there anything else that you can? He's like, no, that's not my job. That's for GM. I don't do that type of thing. I just show up. I'm one of the first guys to show up, one of the last guys to leave. I'll show up and do my job. Those are GM questions. Now, I'm completely for not want to show your whole hand. I mean, I'm completely for not want to show all of your power. I get it. He would never tell us, like, hey, behind the scenes, I'm trying to get so-and-so traded for so-and-so. I'm trying to make this work on the back end. Now, I know he can't tell us this. And I want to assume that LeBron may have some input, kind of. But if he doesn't have any input, or he's not allowed to give any, or he really just, if what he said is completely true, I guess I could see the Cavs' confusion. Because it's like, so you don't really want to make any suggestions as far as like who we should trade. And we get that. Like, and I get that, right? Like, I completely understand how like, I completely get the idea of a player like, hey, that's not my job. I'm not the GM. I don't do that. But like when it's your time to come for your contract, or when it's Tristan Thompson's time to come for a contract, or when you want to sign your best friend Dwayne Wade to the team, that's not something that like the new GM did and was like, hey, you know what would be a great addition? Hey, LeBron, we're going to bring in Dwayne Wade. When LeBron's like, what? That's so crazy. That's my best friend. I've known him for so long. That's so interesting. You guys would do that, because I always wanted to play with him, and I never thought we'd play on the same team. So that's so cool. We just happened to be on the same page, and you guys read my mind and just moved him over. No. It's not what happened. Somehow, some way, LeBron said something to someone else. That got to Dwayne Wade, and blah, blah, blah. Dwayne Wade and him end up on the same team. So from the say in a meeting, like, yo, that's not for me. I'm not the GM. I don't make those type of moves. I feel like, I think that, how do I say this? I don't know if it's fair. I don't know if that's a fair statement, you know, like to say, oh yeah, I'm not the GM, I don't do that type of stuff, but you do that type of stuff. Like you do. So I know he can't talk directly about a trade and say who he would trade for or that, but to say, I'm not the GM, I just show up and do my job. You're kind of the face of the team, and you're kind of like running the team. And the guy that got promoted to head coach was like kind of based on your recommendation. So I want to give LeBron credit for basically being an impromptu GM, but I could see how this whole thing is wildly confusing to the Cavs, because they're like, dude, like, do you want to do this or do you not want to do it? Like, I mean, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know yet. I'm not sure. So should we trade the pick? I don't know yet. I'm not the GM. I don't do those type of things with you guys. All right. So can you tell us when you think maybe you'd leave? No, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. All right, dude. If you do stay, do you want us to bring in someone? No, I want a Paul George or I want a Carmelo. You guys couldn't do that. You guys got me Dwayne Wade, which is cool. But, I mean, whatever. Okay. All right. Well, the trade deadline's coming up on Thursday. Could we get a suggestion? Hey, man, that's on you guys. I don't handle that type of stuff. Just do your job. What? But if we make the wrong decision, then you're going to tear us a new one. It's going to be all over the news. The internet's going to tear us up for not making the incredible move that someone else is going to make. Because you know what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. Somehow, some way, wildly, because the wildest trades we talk about a whole bunch of things, right? Then eventually something happens that we had no clue of it happening. Like, who thought that Blake Griffin would end up on the Pistons? Nobody thought that. No one saw that coming at all. So you know what's going to happen that's going to be really wild? This is what I'm going to tell you. It's going to be really wild. Somehow, some way, DeAndre Jordan's going to end up on like the Trailblazers. And we'll be like, how'd this happen? And that's what's going to happen. Then LeBron's going to find out what was traded for DeAndre Jordan, and he's not going to be very happy about how they got out-hustled. He's not going to like it. And that's where they're going to be. But I feel for the Cavs in this situation, because for the guy to say, I'm not the GM, I don't do that type of thing, and at the same time say, yeah, well, not at the same time, but earlier in the year, bringing his best friend to play on the squad. I feel like you're GMing a little bit. You're GMing like a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. So, and I'm not one to knock anyone's power, and I'm also not one to give away all the goods though. So I feel like in this situation, if he's telling us he's not the GM, that's fine. But I hope that like behind closed doors, he is making GM type moves. I mean, because LeBron is basically a boss. So I don't think he's someone that's willy-nilly like in his box, really just, I'm in the box. No, I feel like he does things and says things and makes moves in the cuts. But he can't give us that type of access, because you don't want everyone knowing how you're moving. You don't. You can't have that. You don't want everyone knowing how much power you got, because next thing you know, they come looking for you. We've seen this before. Everyone's seen this. People find out how much power you got, and they start coming to look for you. But I like the way that CP3 said, hey, you guys better be grateful. You better be grateful. And that could be a slight sign too. I mean, they're really good friends. I mean, I think that's his best friend. I'm not sure if that's the best friend of Dwayne Wade is. I'm not 100% sure. What I do know is this. I know that if CP3 is like, hey, you guys better be careful. You guys better be careful. Be grateful, because you got LeBron over there. Don't take it for granted. When someone says that to you, I'm not going to say it's a, hey, watch your back warning, but I'm going to say it kind of smells like a watch your back warning. Like, hey, I'll play for the Rockets and we gunning for y'all. Now, I don't really know how the LeBron Rockets thing will work. I'm not 100. I don't really know. I don't. But if he did go there, that would be a problem. If he went to the Rockets, it would definitely be a problem. Me personally, I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about this trade deadline, though. I kind of am. And when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys why. Because there's some other stuff going on that, you know what? I'm not going to take a break. I'm going to run this through. We don't even need a break yet. There's some stuff going on. I'm going to give you guys a little peek of this. Now, even though Kevin Love is hurt right now, there's a rumor going that they're basically shopping him already. They're basically shopping him already, so that if LeBron leaves, they can start clearing that stuff out, which I feel like it makes sense. Now, with that being the case, maybe what I'm saying as far as them making operating in the sense of him leaving, their direction is pretty smart, because my thing was like, hey, if you guys are going to lose him anyway, and this is going to be the one last shot at the finals, I say you make some trades, make some moves, so you can put together the best team that you're ever going to have for like the next 10 years. But they see it as, if he's going to leave anyway, let's just tear the team apart. Let's just destroy it now while it's already bad. If he's going to go, and if he stays, we can restructure. But if he's going to go anyway, let's operate from the vision of him leaving. I mean, that makes sense, right? It makes sense. If they can't seem to find the chemistry among this brand new like motley crew of players that can't seem to get it together, and LeBron is saying, well, I'm a player, that's it, like I don't have anything else. This is what he said. I'll give you guys the quote. I'm sorry. That's not a question for me. I show up to work every day. I bust my tail every day. I'm the first one to get to the gym. I'm one of the last ones to leave. I do my part. I control what I can control. That is what I can control. Now, again, if he's saying that because he just doesn't want to give up all his goods and let us know how much like top secret moves he's making in the cuts, that's fine. That's fine. But I really do hope that he's not chilling in the cut, being like super passive aggressive, which people keep accusing him of that, and I don't think it's fair. I think people keep saying that because whenever you post something on social media, everyone wants to figure it out. And usually in real life, if someone posts something on social media and you are trying to figure it out, then you have to reinvestigate what's going on inside of yourself. But when it's LeBron, for whatever reason, when he does it and the whole world wants to sit around figuring it out, for some reason, he's the one being passive aggressive because everyone else feels a way about what he sent. I don't know how that works. But I digress. If he's just sitting in the cut, like, hey, I don't have anything to say about this, and then they mess up on a trade, and it's like, oh, you guys should have got so-and-so. Okay, Captain Obvious, that's not helpful. So hopefully he's not sitting around being Captain Obvious. I don't like the word passive-aggressive. I'm going to say Captain Obvious. I hope LeBron isn't sitting in the cut waiting for them to mess something up and then say, you guys should have did this instead. That's being Captain Obvious isn't helpful to anybody. But I sincerely feel like LeBron isn't the type of individual that will put himself in a position to fail. Right? So, because why? Because when has he ever done that? Like, so when he left the Miami Heat and then got to the Cavs and then Kyrie was there and then suddenly Kevin Love was there and then later on J.R. Smith was there and like now Dwayne Wade's there. He's got to put himself in a position to fail. So when it comes to people accusing him of being passive aggressive and things like that, like, why would he do that? It's just going to mess up his money and his success. For what? Why would he want to do that? Nobody knows. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, I'm going to tell you guys about your favorite stage parent, LeVar Ball, and his latest antics. I'm also going to give you today in NBA history, and I might give you a pick of the night. It just depends on how I feel when I get back. We'll see. Don't go anywhere, and then you'll find out as well. Be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. With your favorite host, Ryan Holloway. Me, that's who. So, I told you guys about how the Cavs probably aren't going to, not how they aren't going to figure it out. It's not like, I'm not completely giving up on them. Like, that's not a thing. I'm just saying that if they don't know what LeBron's going to do. So right now it's a situation where, me personally, I think they should acquire as much talent as possible and like just make some moves, try to just make one last push towards the finals, one last push. And if he leaves and whatever, but it seems like they're already shopping Kevin Love to just, take the team apart, take all the wheels off, sell it for parts and start fresh, which, it's interesting. It's interesting. I would say it's interesting. Where we're at with that is this. I'm going to go ahead and go into a lighter note because I feel like that Cavalier stuff might be making you guys a little depressed. Just recently, as you guys know, that LeVar Ball, the parent of Lonzo Ball and LaMelo and Liangelo, he's keen on having all three of his boys play for the Lakers at the same time. He's been saying this for several years now. Forever, I guess. Lonzo Ball was picked number 2 by the Lakers, and the other two are playing for a Lithuanian semi-professional league. That's where they're at right now with that. So more power to them. No hate. Sounds great. And my thing is like, okay, I don't necessarily know how all these players are going to make it on the Lakers. They already don't really want to deal with you dissing the coach willy-nilly left and right, saying nobody wants to listen to Luke Walton. And he's too young, and he doesn't demand any respect. No one necessarily wants to hear that in the Lakers organization. So I'm like, how are you going to get the other kids to play on the Lakers? Like, why would they even sign them? The kid from UCLA that got caught stealing wasn't even an NBA prospect at all, according to rankings of high school players and college players and so on. Like, he wasn't ranked as someone that was going to be drafted. Recently, LeVar has tapered his expectations and said, all my boys don't have to play for the Lakers. I just want all three of them on the same team So all three can play for Toronto, all three can play for Milwaukee, New York, whoever. Just all three of them on the same team. That's what I want. Now, I talked a little bit about psychological warfare a little bit earlier with you guys. I gave you a quick breakdown. And I think this is more psychological warfare. People feel that he may have said this statement to make it clear that, well, if the Lakers are enjoying Lonzo and they can't seem to take his brothers, then LeVar make a move to probably get Lonzo somewhere else. But he's on a rookie contract, so he's there for what, like 3 years, right? He's there for 3 years. Now, with Melo coming in 2020, that's what, another year, 2 years from now, 2020 draft. So he might be trying to like low key strong arm them into taking Jello, but I mean, I'm not sure how. Not very sure how. I don't really know how that's going to work. Even though LeVar said that Liangelo is done in Lithuania after this year, and he's going to play in the NBA like this year. And I want to find out how that's going to happen. I have to see. I got to find out. I want to know what kind of moves he's making behind the scenes to get someone to draft this guy. I want to know, because there's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft. It's not like the NFL draft where it's 100 days. There's only 2 rounds. So I want to know how he's going to end up getting him on the Lakers. I also found it interesting that he said they don't have to play for the Lakers. They can play for Toronto, Milwaukee, or New York, or whatever. Now, if he really means this, then, I mean, that's great. Like, I feel like that's awesome. How would I say? I think that's good. It's good. It's good that you've tapered your expectations down, because I don't really know if the Lakers organization, their staff, their record label, or crew actually would like to deal with you. I'm not sure if they want to. I think that for you to say Toronto, Milwaukee, New York, or whoever, I don't know if you're naming the right whoever's, though. Because, see, here's the thing. New York has this guy called Kristaps Porzingis, and they also got French Frank. I'm not necessarily sure if they're a whoever team that you can say would just randomly take all 3 of your boys. Also, when it comes to Milwaukee, they're so serious in the game with Giannis, they decided to fire their coach because they figured they can do better than Jason Kidd. Lastly, when it comes to Toronto, I mean, they're a factor. Like, Toronto apparently is a factor, and out here, word on the street is that Toronto is supposed to upset the Cavs in the playoffs. That's word in the street. You guys heard it here first. And I'm just saying that, like, you're naming the wrong teams when it comes to the whole whoever. You want to know who's a whoever you should maybe be looking towards? Let's say maybe Detroit. Detroit would love to sell the tickets with Blake Griffin and the Ball brothers. I think that'd be a good look. Maybe they'll do that. Or maybe Sacramento. You're probably looking at taking all 3 of them to Sacramento because, hey, I mean, I'll go see them play. Honestly, look, I will be 100 with you right now. The Sacramento Kings are 16-36, right? Are they? Last time I checked, they won 16 games. Have they won more? Okay. They're 16-36, right? I'd watch it. I'd watch them play. Why not? If they were on the teams, why not? Also, you know who else is really bad? You want to know who's really bad? The Orlando Magic. They're pretty bad too. I'd watch them play on them. But you want to know what I think is going to happen within this situation? I'm going to give you guys a scoop right now. I'm going to give you guys a real life scoop. This could happen. I mean, it could happen in the sense that, like, it's completely speculatory, but it might be something that can go down. I feel like Mark Cuban's all about the show, right? Not so much about the show when it comes to, like, Jerry Jones, but, like, just about the show. Now, I know they have Dennis Smith Jr., and they're trying to rebuild over there, but, I mean, would Mark Cuban be willing to take on a Ball brother just for the show? Would he be willing to do it? I mean, he was going to let Tony Romo play on the team. Like, just kind of. Well, I mean, he gave Tony Romo a jersey. Tony Romo got to shoot around. They got to hang out with the Mavs. I mean, all that. So, I mean, could that be a thing? Because I want to know I want to know what LeVar Ball is parlaying in the background to be able to take Liangelo out of Lithuania and put him in this year's draft. I have to know what's going on. There has to be more to this. There has to be more information. When I get more of it, I will let you guys know. Okay? Okay, I promise. I promise. Now, are you guys ready for this year, for this day in NBA history? Okay, today's the 5th, right? But this actually happened on the 6th, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a good thing to do. So, February 6th, 1988, Michael Jordan won the Nestle Crunch Slam Dunk contest, with a perfect 50 on his final dunk. Now, the reason I appreciate this one is because of this. Have you guys seen the picture of Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line? You seen it? With like the colors and him just being in the air, like floating, and everything's just still. It's like a perfect moment in the sports universe. Have you seen that picture? Okay, this is the picture from that. So the next time you see the picture of Michael Jordan taking off from the free throw line, next time you see it, just know that happened in 1988. That's the Jordan logo. Bet you didn't know that. So yeah, there you have it. Actually, you know what? I'm lying. That's not the Jordan logo. I'm not telling the truth. That is not the Jordan logo. The Jordan logo is a different Michael Jordan dunk, but this one from the free throw line is just epic in all of its glory. So I'm hoping that when you guys get a chance that you can actually take a look at it, because, well, if you don't know what picture I'm talking about, then I need you to step your basketball game up, because you should just know. If you don't know what picture that is, then I'm glad I'm able to just give you guys a little bit of game for you to be able to participate in this basketball smorgasbord with me 3 times a week. With that, I'm gonna give you guys a game of the night. Are you ready for this? Because this is where we're at right now. I don't have a great one for you. Okay, I don't. I really don't have a great one. But okay. So don't hold this against me, okay? Don't hold it against me. I don't have a great one for you, but that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to take the Chicago Bulls versus Sacramento Kings under 211 points. That's the pick. That's where we're at. Not saying anything else about it. You guys good with that? All right, cool. Sounds great. I want to thank you for joining me for another tremendously great episode of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, hosted by your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, on the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. Live long, prosper, watch for potholes, and congratulations to the Eagles.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.